Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reggie Robinson Podcast, Episode 2. Now, today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's very important in the African American community, and that's important to the future of our community, and that's role models for our young African American youth. Now, before we get started, make sure you check out my website, reggierobinson.com. Also, go to our YouTube channel, the Reggie Robinson Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe all our content. And also, if you're considering supporting me and you like the content that you're seeing, just go to the website and click on the support tab. There's a couple ways you can take care of me there. Now, let's hop into this topic. Now, the term role model was initially coined by a sociologist named Robert K. Merton in the 1950s. Merton introduced this concept to describe individuals who serve as examples, influencing behavior and aspirations and attitudes of others. This notion has since become integral in understanding how individuals develop their identities and aspirations. So, what are good role models, and what are some essential traits that a good role model should have? Now, a good role model definitely should have, a high level of integrity and honesty, in all aspects of his life. They should be constantly demonstrating, ethical behavior, establishing trust and respect among those who look up to them. Role models should have resilience and perseverance. Resilience and perseverance are critical traits. Good role models show that setbacks and challenges are part of the journey, but they can overcome them with determination and hard work. Now, good role models should also have empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion are fundamentals for good role models. Role models should show genuine concern for others and engage in actions that support and uplift their communities. Now, some of the key things that role models should definitely have is take responsibility and accountabilities for all their actions. Role models are key in these young people's lives, and so being responsible and showing these young folks how to be responsible and how to take accountability for their actions is very important for a role model to display on a consistent and constant basis. Now, some of the areas where role models have a huge influence on our young people are using education and the academic achievements. Now, in a nutshell, a good role model is always gonna pursue to better themselves. They're always going to pursue knowledge, information, education, to do things to better themselves and to show that they are ambitious about their goals. Now, someone that's a good role model will always show their mentees and those that look up to them that even though no matter how much college or education you get, the learning process never stops. You always have to continuously learn. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm messing that word up. You always got to make sure you're learning. Another area where role models show and can be influential is in a young person's career path, in their professional aspirations. Now, and in the black community, this part is very, very heavy in the black community because unfortunately, a lot of the things that's depicted in the black community for young black men, via media and stuff like that, are typically only entertainers and athletes. And so, therefore, a lot of our young men has developed this ambition to be entertainers and athletes because that's what they see on TV as successful black men, which those are only a very small portion of black men that are successful. The vast majority of black men has nothing to do with entertainment or or being athletes, and are very successful over a continuous period of time. So when we put certain people in front of our kids and we're showing them and we want them to look up to them for some reason, we got to be careful who we're putting in front of our kids, because just because they do a particular job doesn't mean they necessarily meet all the other traits that a good role model is. They may be a successful athlete, but the honesty, the integrity, the accountability, those things may not necessarily be there. So we need to make sure that just because a person is successful in a career that happened to put them on TV or happened to put them in the spotlight, that doesn't automatically make them a role model. Now, good role models, they influence young people, when it comes to their personal development, their character building, in so many different ways. From the way these young folks act, the way they dress, just kind of the moral code, unfortunately. We're leaving these role models, these kids, to get certain things from these role models when they actually should be getting them from the parents and family members that they have a direct connection with. So we have to be very cautious about who we put and who we build up as a role model, because they have a direct effect on the way our kids carry ourselves. Look at the way a lot of our young folks are starting to dress and things like that. That stem directly from those that they look up to, either the athlete, the actor, the singer, the rapper, or whatever it may be. Their fashion, their style, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, all these various things. So if someone is being pushed as a role model and a good example for our young people, but they don't necessarily meet all the criteria, they should only be looked at for what they do, either athlete or if they're an entertainer. Yeah, you can look at them and enjoy what their work that they do, but they definitely shouldn't be a role model unless they meet all these criteria. And that's why, in my opinion, it's I've never really understood the concept of athletes and entertainers being role models for our young, because how many of our young people actually get to meet and spend time with some of these athletes and entertainers that our community pump up as a role model? Just because they have this nice and clean and wholesome image on TV doesn't necessarily it doesn't mean that that's the way they live their life, because they have very huge companies and corporations that pay a lot of money to ensure that some of these folks' image look the way they want, because the way their image look depends on how much their movie, music, TV shows, whatever it is, sell. So they'll invest tons and tons of money into ensuring that somebody look like a great image and a great role model, especially for our black youth. But behind the closed doors, they're morally bankrupt. That's the best way I can put it with keeping it clean. They're morally bankrupt. So we have to ensure that we're putting people that our young people have direct contact with, that can see them on a regular basis, that their parents know are good, clean, honest people who've been thoroughly vetted. See, in the black community, we tend to have a very, very low bar for someone to be a role model for our youth. All you have to do is be on TV, be successful, make a little bit of money, show that you can get a good contract, and show that you have a big home. And for the most part, in the black community, you can be considered a role model. Let's look at some of the people that has fallen into all these different criminal activities and going to jail and having potential cases coming up. For the last 20 years, a lot of these guys and girls were put up as role models for our kids. And now it's starting to come out that these are some of the worst people on the planet. You know what I mean? So personally, I've never understood that concept. For me, my role models have always been my father, my uncles, and my older brother and my older cousins. I got cousins that's like uncles to me. And because I come from a large family on my mother and father's side, for the most part, almost every day of the week, I seen an uncle, a cousin that was like an uncle, my older cousin that was like 5, 6 years older than I was. And because my family has a history of being just good moral people, I've always had a lot of good male role models right there within my family. So I really never looked at any type of athlete or entertainer or anything like that as a role model for the most part. Honestly, I really don't watch any sports or any form of entertainment or anything like that, just for the simple fact I don't like the way that they depict our people. I don't like the way they depict black people in this country. So to me, if I watch any of it, that's me giving my stamp of approval. So I don't watch any of it. I really don't know who any of these really popular entertainers are unless they come across my radar on something that I'm researching or something like that. Or they just happen to live in my neighborhood. Because the neighborhood that I live in, there's a tremendous amount of, you know, so called successful and famous people that's on TV via either athletes, different types of entertainers, and stuff like that. And, for the most part, the majority of them, what you see on TV is really not the lifestyle that they're living. They have this large, large lifestyle, but it's really not what it appears to be on TV. But going back, so my father and uncles and older brother and older cousins, they have always been my role models growing up as a young man. Now, once I joined the Marine Corps and stuff like that, I started developing and getting mentors, in various aspects of my Marine Corps career that, helped me throughout the Marine Corps and helped me navigate different things and stuff like that. And as well as my father-in-law and my wife's grandfather. Because my wife and I, we got married when I was young. I've been married over 30 years now. And so since I was a young man, both of those guys have played a huge role in my life and showing me how to be a man. Because, when you're in the Marine Corps, you're living and away from your father, away from your parents, away from, your family members and stuff like that. And so, and fortunately, because of the type of men my father-in-law and my wife's grandfather were, they pretty much just blended directly in with the way my dad and my uncles were. They both were phenomenal and great men that really loved and cared about me and poured everything they could to help me become a good young man. So to me, I think role models start at home. Role models start in the family. Role models start with those that you have a direct connection with. those that care about you, that has your best interest in place, so they can thoroughly vet these people. Because someone on TV or someone on a football field or basketball court, they're athletes. Okay, you can, respect them for their talent and skill set or whatever it may be. But, want your children to pattern their lives after of them, I think we're making a huge mistake. And I think we're starting to see it in the behavior of our young men with hypersensitive ways they act, way they really have no conflict resolution skills or anything like that. From all the way down to the way they dress. I'm not one of these old guys that's think everybody should walk around and suit and tie. No, I'm a black dude from the west side of Chicago. I understand about style, fashion, swag, this, that, the other. But there's a way to do it, you know, with dignity and respect and looking like a man should. You see what I'm saying? Having your trousers fit the right way, wearing things that don't associate you with the criminal element. You know what I'm saying? I call it that thug costume. Not wearing those type of things, dressing like a man should dress, like dressing like a man with a purpose, dressing like a man with something to do. Those are the things that we need to show our young men. And the depiction that we're seeing on TV with these entertainers and athletes and even the politicians, they're not they're not doing it. It's up to us. It's up to dads, uncles, brothers, big cousins. It's up to us to be the role models for our young men. Not somebody that's on TV who some corporation is paying a massive amount of money to ensure that their image is good to go. Nah, we don't need those folks. We need people who these young folks are seeing every single day, watching these men come home from work. That's what these young men need to do. These young men need to be talked to directly on a regular basis by other men, being checked by another man, from a young age. So that way, when another man talk to them in a way that may not be so kind, they don't get butt hurt and their little feelings get all involved, and they start running around yelling and screaming like some little sissy. You know what I'm saying? We need to build men. We need to have our young men and teach our young men how to conduct themselves as young men, how to walk around with their chin up, shoulders rolled back, chest up, not walking around all lazy and slovenly, walking around with a purpose, with a goal, like you got something to do, like you got something on your mind, not just meandering around with your pants hanging down, wearing nice little tight Hillary Clinton pantsuit. You know, what is up with these men wearing gym shoes and sneakers with suits? That's one of the most repugnant things I've ever seen in my life. Here it is, a guy would take the time and take his hard-earned money, drop a couple grand, 2,500 on a nice suit, and then they go break out some damn go fasters. That's what we call it in the Marine Corps, some damn running shoes, basically. What man dressed like that? As a grown man, you wear dress shoes. Get you some expensive dress shoes and throw those bad boys on. Not some running shoes with a nice suit. That's ridiculous. Baseball cap on with a suit. That just shows that's somebody who don't know that don't know how to dress, that didn't have a man to teach them how to dress. That's somebody that's trying to keep up with the styles and fashions of these people that's on TV. Men don't walk around like that. Men don't walk around with tight pants. Men wear trousers. To where if you need to bend down and change the tire in your pickup truck, You're not splitting at the back of the seams of your pants. You notice I keep saying pants because they look like women. Women wear pants, men wear trousers. You see what I'm saying? So we need to have the right men as our role model. We need to have men that conduct themselves like men. Accountability, honor, respect, good values, core values. Now, with that being said, I'm going to do a video on this and do another video and show some statistics and stuff like that. And, it's really important for us to have really good role models because role models don't stop at a certain age. Okay, I'm 50 over 50 years old. I'm 51 years old, and even I'm still using my role models to this day. I just recently became a granddad. Never been a grandfather before, so my friends that have had kids, have had grandkids, they're kind of mentoring me and showing me the steps to do and how to be a granddad. So role models and being a mentor, it's not a certain age. It goes on and on and on. It's throughout your life because we're all gonna face different challenges and different things in life that we've never faced before. And to be able to have somebody that has a good foundation that trust, and have your best interests at place is always good to have, at a text, a Zoom call, phone call, whatever it may be. So, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I'll keep going on. Young men, make sure you're doing the best you can. Go into these different groups. Go online. Spend time online. Former President Obama has a phenomenal mentoring group. 100 black men. 5,000 men, 5,000 role models down in Florida. There's tons of great programs to show you how to start and to be a mentor. And if you're a mentee and you need a mentor, somebody, you got a kid that needs somebody to mentor them, go to my website reggierobinson.com, look up this podcast episode 2, and I'll have different links, about 5 or 6 different links to different programs that's nationwide that offer good mentor programs for our young men, because this is not just a problem for the black community. This is a problem for all America. Because black folk here in America, we're Americans. We contribute to this country. If our young men moving forward don't have the right tools to be successful to contribute to our country, where does that leave our country? So this is a everyone problem. If you're in another community, doesn't matter if you black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter, Hispanic, and you know about a good mentor program that's in your community, tell your friends, your coworkers at the job, hey, have you heard about this mentoring program? Let's stop talking about sports and all this crazy stuff at the water cooler. Let's start talking about some stuff that's going to build our country, because we need to understand in America, we're all assets to this country. We're all assets to this country. If one citizen in this country do good, that's a benefit for all of us. So make sure you check out the website, reggierobinson.com. Check out the YouTube channel, the Reggie Robinson Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you share, share, subscribe to all my content. And if you like the content and you want to take care of a brother, just hit reggierobinson.com/support. And there's a couple ways you can take care of me. And if you want some deals on saving gas, shopping, stuff like that, hit reggierobinson.com/deals. I got a lot of good links there. You get some deals, I get a little win-win, a little cut back on the percentage. Reggie Robinson Podcast. Holla at you later.